If you had a misfortune, do you still look back with resentment or have you moved on? Daniel Ochieng Ogot has decided to move on. It has been a long journey and certainly not easy. Daniel is currently pursuing an undergraduate degree in business administration, concentrating on management at the United States International University. Looking back, he never thought or imagined he could soar to such heights.
Sometimes I ask myself, why us? Why me? Because my family was okay. We had a stable family. My dad had a job. I was going to school. And just in a flash of light, everything went down. I found myself in the Nairobi city where I never thought I would be there.
Daniel was brought up in a polygamous family and things changed when his father passed on.
1 year after my dad died, my uncles and other peoples combined together and chased my mom from home. She was disinherited. The family took everything that my dad owned. They sold everything, including the clothes of my dad. They sold everything. And the money they had, they shared between all the family members, including those people who had already had their families.
In early 1994, a twist of events occurred, and this was the last time Daniel would see his home and family members. He had had enough.
The hard times that we had, sometimes sleeping hungry, sometimes my mom coming from the market without anything to eat. I just decided, let me just go. Let me see what I can find beyond there. So that's how I found myself in the street of Nairobi.
In the streets, he was a loner. He was new to the ways of the city. Coming from the village, the city was quite different. Everyone was busy and no one took notice of him. He spent his first night hungry and on a cold floor. As fate would have it, the other street boys were not welcoming, so he could keep to himself before he learned the art of begging. During one of his rounds, he came across the Salesians of Don Bosco, who for the first time paid attention to him. Don Bosco Kariwa Center served as shelter for the street boys. The boys at the center were faced with many challenges. For instance, they would have one meal, that was breakfast, then fend for themselves the other meals.
During that time in 1994, Mladým Stephen was the one who was in charge of Bosco Boys Kariwa. So on Saturdays he used to take boys who were formerly street boy to Don Bosco Upper Hill to take shower. Because we used to have shower only once in a week and wash our clothes. So on the way when they were going on Saturday to take shower, they met me on the street and he pleaded with me to follow them. So after coming from Upper Hill, in the evening, this is the place that I was brought. It used to be the place boys used to sleep, and during the day they go to do their normal things like borrowing, everything, any kind of thing they used to do.
When Daniel left for the city, his mother, Benta Atieno, agonized for years, wondering what could have happened to him. Not even the comfort from her brothers-in-law would heal her pain.
When my son got lost, it was very painful, and I thought a lot about him. I kept praying to God to take care of him.
She was, however, hopeful that one day she would see her son again. After a short stay in Kariwa Center, Daniel, together with a group of other boys, were later taken to Don Bosco Langata Center, which was known as Savio Center then, so that they could start their studies.
The selection used to depend on few food that they had. Now they brought boys. We were many, around 50 or 60. We didn't have a farm. We didn't have even a vehicle to go at least to search for food. And I remember there were some times we used to have only porridge in the morning. Yeah, it was really hard for them.
Though they received affection and acceptance from the Salesians, the society still perceived them as outcasts. Their first day in school was met with hostility.
At 11 o'clock, the bell rang for the children to come. So we were very anxious to see the people who are going to be our classmates, at least to interact with them. But surprisingly, nobody came to the field. Because we used to have a bigger field and then a smaller field behind the school. Nobody came. So we asked ourselves, why are these people not coming here, or they have been told not to come here because we are here? So after being admitted, we later came to understand that our friends who were in class were told by the teachers that there are some street boys who have been brought by a Catholic priest for an interview. So be warned, go to that field at your own risk. So I came to ask myself, who are we? If the Salesians are trying to help us to be in school, the people who are supposed to be modeling us to be good children, to be good pupils, are now discouraging us. So it was really tough for us.
Despite being labeled as street boys, they had exceptional talents.
We really performed well. We were the top 5 children in each class. Until one day Father Babu said there is no competition, because every time we were going there, so he said, let's see if we can transfer them to another school.
Word spread and soon street boys started flocking in at Langata Center. It turned out to be a challenge because the center could not cope with the large numbers. The Salesians had to plan on how to expand the shelter. With the help of Cardinal Otunga, they were able to get a piece of land in Karen, where they set up Bosco Boys Kuwinda. Father Babu, the first director at the center, shares his memories fondly of the center.
When I look at it, it is not I who did the job. It is as a team, we Salesians, with the great support we received from benefactors. When I look at Cardinal Otunga, Mr. Jasani, Mr. Bimal, Mr. Shah, so many people helped us a lot. So many people helped us, and we are very grateful to them and for their continued support.
Daniel was later taken to Bosco Boys, from where he continued with his secondary education at Upper Hill School.
After finishing high school in Upper Hill, we came back here. We were many of us, but due to lack of fund, we were not able to go straight to university. So most of the time when we finish high school is when that we come to help, at least to teach lower classes, while Salesians are trying to get funds for university. So I remember very well, with the help of Father Sebastian and Mama Rosa from California, United States of America, I was able to get sponsorship after 2 years completing my high school. So I was able to enroll in 2009.
Having gone through it all and having found a stable ground to stand on with the Salesians, Daniel felt that it was time to reconnect with his family. Making this journey after many years brings flooded memories to Daniel. It is here he and his siblings called home. It was an emotional moment for mother and son.
I was rendered speechless when God brought Daniel back home. He found me in deep thought.
This was time to bond and make up for the lost time. It was a moment to recall good old times. Looking at her son now, she is so proud of him and she has no sufficient words to express her gratitude.
I was very grateful to God because my son had started to study. I pray that my son continues with his studies and becomes successful so that one day I will be able to dress well. I thank you all.
Daniel is happy to be a Bosco boy and glad that despite being labeled a chokora, his future looks bright.
I'm very proud and grateful to all benefactors that have contributed towards my entire education until now, since 1994. I take this opportunity to assure all the benefactors that every single cent that they have put into my education and other Bosco boys that is being used properly. And may God bless you and your entire family.
Dan was one of the boys like these ones, and he worked hard and he had people to support, and so today he's in the university and is doing well. You too can make a difference in the life of these young people if you are willing to share your time, talents and energy, and if you support us, we can change many more lives.
A life of service and giving has its own rewards. Not everyone is called to serve the poorest of the poor. The effort of service is seldom a waste, and if done wholeheartedly, it always enriches the one who gives.